Welcome to Knoxville Raceway Inside Line with your host Eric Arnold, presented by Lucas Oil, FVP, Casey's General Store, Speed Sport, Arnold Motor Supply, RacingJunk.com, and Pella Motors.
Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Knoxville Raceway Inside Line. I am your host, Eric Arnold, Knoxville Raceway track historian. Thank you for joining us tonight here on KBOE 104.9 in Oskaloosa, your station for racing. Well, this past Saturday night at Knoxville, we had another rainout, 2 rainouts in a row, delaying the season opener yet another week. Kind of a bummer. We called it early this week with the forecast. About 9:30, I kind of got the inkling that it was going to happen, and by 10 o'clock or so, the races were canceled for the day on Saturday morning, which canceling early helps a lot of the race teams that travel, 4 or 5 or more hours to get there, and they were able to either look for a race somewhere else or not have to make that drive all the way to Knoxville. So, third time's the charm this Saturday night at Knoxville Raceway, the 62nd annual season opener, Pella Motors night, Race for Your School night. Bring those Race for Your School coupons that are out there at some local establishments and stores. You can save $5 of your $15 ticket to the school of your choice and the program of your choice at that school. Of course, it is kids free, 19 and under, Saturday night once again. So season opener is still free kids night this coming Saturday. As well, Casey's General Store receipts, if you save up those this week, a receipt of $50 or more gets you 2 tickets for $20. Senior discount is $3, and employees at Pellicorp, Nationwide Insurance and Farm Bureau is a $5 discount as well. So with no racing to really talk about yet at this point, we're going to do an interview with 2 different drivers tonight. 2 drivers from the Sioux Falls area. I kind of have dubbed those drivers the Sioux Falls Wolfpack after Doug Wolfgang, who's a native of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We're going to have drivers Dylan Peterson and Dusty Zomer on the show tonight, so we'll do 2 interviews with them. So with that, we'll take our first break here quickly. You're listening to the Knoxville Raceway Inside Line on KBOE. Thanks for listening to the Knoxville Podcast. This segment brought to you by FVP. Visit FVPparts.com and learn about their great automotive products such as batteries, oil filters, motor oils, and more. Visit FVParts.com. All right, welcome back to the Knoxville Raceway Inside Line. Joining us on the phone now, part of the Sioux Falls, South Dakota Wolfpack, Dylan Peterson. Dylan, welcome to the show. And you're one of the few drivers at Knoxville that's actually a college graduate. How about that?
Yeah, I saw your tweet the other day, and I thought that was pretty interesting. It's cool to see guys that do have the education, and not that it makes a difference, or if you do, but just kind of goes back to some of us who have day jobs every week, and we're kind of the clowns on the circus on the weekend, which is fun.
Yep, talk a little bit about what you are doing for a career now. I think you're a truck salesman.
Yeah, I'm actually a wholesale manager at Sioux Falls Truck and Trailer in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So I deal semi-trucks from dealer to dealer across the country on a daily basis, just buying and selling trucks, wheeling and dealing.
Living the dream, racing sprint cars on the weekend. So
that's right.
So talk a little bit about how you got into racing. I know your dad is Vance Peterson, and I watched him race at Knoxville, in the 80s, 20 some years ago. Talk about kind of how your family is involved in racing, I guess, and how you started.
Our racing program's almost entirely based off of our family. My dad raced from 1981 to 1997, pretty avidly, and he's definitely a very passionate guy when it comes to the sport. Basically, my brothers and I got into racing because he brought 3 go-karts home one day when I was about 10. And we raced go-karts for 4 or 5 years, and then my oldest brother got a chance in a 360, and we just started racing and working on it, and it keeps our family together today. My brothers work on the car. I get to drive it. My dad owns it and calls the shots. The rest of the family enjoys coming and watching, so it's really a family-oriented deal.
And I think kind of at an early age, you were also a crew member for Clint Garner's team coming down to Knoxville every Saturday night as well, right?
Yeah, that's when I fell in love with that place. When I was 13 and 14, I had the opportunity to go down there every weekend. He drove my dad's car at Huset's, and he drove his own at Knoxville, so I'd make the trip down every Saturday with him and learned a lot. Definitely learned a lot.
Yeah, Clint's got a lot of talent there. So from there, you raced in go-karts. Did you have some success there? Did you travel much racing go-karts around the Midwest?
Yeah, we did a lot of the ACAF stuff. We won probably 3 or 4 point championships and 50 races in a 5-year span. So we did very well in that. And I actually took, by the time I hit high school, I was kind of more into football and wrestling, so I didn't race near as much. And then graduated from high school and had the opportunity to race sprint cars. So I hung the football cleats up and picked up the steering wheel.
I heard you were a pretty good football player, all-state.
Yeah, yeah. My hometown's spoiled. We won. At one point, we had won 12 out of 15 state titles, so football is a big deal. So my friends and I from school always dedicated a lot of our time into it.
Wow, that's great. So like in about, was it 2010, you started racing non-wing sprint cars kind of up around your area. Just talk a little bit about what that experience was like and what kind of successes you had there.
We started racing non-wing in 2010, you're right. The Heartland Racing Association basically was a startup organization to try to generate interest in non-wing racing in the South Dakota, Northwest Iowa area, primarily because we didn't have it. There was nothing around like it, so we thought it was a good idea to kind of broaden the racing scene in the area. And there's still about 15 guys that do it weekly on Fridays, and I'm actually really fortunate that I started in a non-wing car. We had a lot of success in it, and you definitely learn how to drive with your foot rather than the steering wheel. So, there's a lot to take away from it. It's almost a different car completely. It's almost a different sport, but there's a lot that correlates to the wing car too.
So kind of the first time I heard your name was around 2010. I think you came to Knoxville at the 360 Nationals, and you guys made the A main. I think that was your first trip to Knoxville in the 360 Nationals, right?
Yeah, we had good success. A big part of that, at a track like Knoxville, big half-mile track, you have to be able to qualify. And I have to attribute a lot of that to our engine builder out in Ohio, Charlie Fisher. And he does very well. He's got a lot of engines that do extremely well qualifying-wise, and they're raceable and do well. So a lot of that's attributed to that. And I'm kind of the guy I always say I'm on a World of Outlaws team, and I'm just trying to get there as a driver. We have one of the best engine programs in the country, in my opinion, and we have a lot of knowledge on our team, and I'm just trying to keep up with everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, last year, in the 360 class, it was really, really cool to see your progression as the year went. You could just see you were getting better as the season went, and your stats showed that in the second half of the season. I think you finished 6th in points over Rookie of the Year last year, so kudos to you on having a great year last year. I guess what was your goals coming to Knoxville last year to race full-time for the first time in a full season?
The goal is to finish every race. The goal is to finish every lap and to progress every week, and I think we did that. And my whole racing career has kind of been like that. And it's like, okay, we're going to race non-wing for a couple of years, see how that goes. We get better and better. Now what's the next thing? We're going to race wing 360s. And we had a lot of success on a local scene up at Hartford and Houston on a weekly basis in a 360 for 2 years. And it was kind of one of those deals where we had a transition where we'd race ASCS national and regional shows for a year. And it was tough, and we weren't really where we wanted to be, and it wasn't very feasible for us as a team. And we thought, with our lifestyle, working 5 days a week, maybe 6, that Knoxville would be a good place to go to challenge us on a reasonable and feasible scale for our lifestyle. It's just been a lot of fun. Our goal is always to just get better every week and better every day, and I think we did that, and I think we're still doing that. So it's exciting.
So this year, you guys are moving up to the 410 class at Knoxville, but you've been racing 410s for a few seasons at Houston, right?
Yes.
Have you won any races up there, or how many 360 wins do you have? How many 410 wins do you have?
I have 2 360 wins, and I haven't won a 410 race yet.
Okay.
It's kind of one of those deals. Houston is a lot of fun because you get a race against, just like Knoxville to an extent, you get a race against Ian Madsen and Terry McCarl and Mark Dobmeyer, and there's always a couple other guys there that are tough to beat. So it's one of those deals where we do it because the 410 engine we have is affordable. We built it on our own, and we feel like we can compete with it on a weekly basis, and it pays well enough to start the A-Main at Houston. It's a learning experience for us. We don't get to race all the time or as much as we want to, so we try to race against the best competition that we can to get the best we can as fast as we can.
What was the deciding factor to switch from a 360 to a 410 at Knoxville this season?
It was one of our sponsors helped us out quite a bit. Last month we got the news that we had access to a new Shaver 410. So I'm very grateful for all the help we've had. You know, to race 410s at Knoxville on a weekly basis and even 360s, it takes a lot of money, and you know, it takes a lot of help. It takes the whole organization. It takes a core of 10 sponsors that you can count on every year to give you what you're going to need, to give you the resources, and it takes 3 or 4 guys that will take their whole summer to travel to Knoxville 20 times and give up going to the lake. And you know, they just gotta love racing. Your sponsors have to love racing, and your team's gotta love racing. And the decision to race 410s and 360s basically came out of opportunity. There's another driver that got a bigger opportunity in his racing career, and it opened up a door for us to race 410s in Knoxville, and that's where we're at, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, awesome. Happy for you guys. Pretty stout field of cars to step up into at Knoxville this year, though, isn't it?
It's fun. That's what makes it fun, though, man. I would rather get my butt beat by those guys than win a race that, you know, somewhere else. It's just one of those deals where Knoxville's prestigious, and if I want a race, it's at Knoxville. And I've always been one to enjoy the competition and try to see what I have to do to step up to the challenge and meet the demand. You know, it's going to be a tall task because there's a lot of guys that have been racing a long time and have a lot more miles in Knoxville than I have. And I just see that as an opportunity for our team to grow and me to grow as a driver and to get acclimated and adjusted to what it takes to compete at that level.
Yeah, I think you're going to do just fine this year. So, well, good luck to you. Thanks for coming on to the show, and hopefully we see you Saturday night if the weather's good.
Yeah, let's hope so. Looks like rain again, but hopefully it holds up.
All right. Thanks, Dylan.
Yeah, thanks, Eric.
That was 410 Rookie of the Year hopeful Dylan Peterson joining us on the line. Thanks for him to coming on to the show. We'll be right back after these messages with our next guest, Dusty Zomer. You're listening to the Knoxville Raceway Inside Line on KBOE. Thanks for listening to the Knoxville Podcast. This segment is brought to you by Casey's General Store. Visit a Casey's General Store near you and support a great company that supports dirt track racing. Casey's is famous for pizza. Welcome back to the Knoxville Raceway Inside Line. Joining us now on the phone is Sioux Falls, South Dakota driver Dusty Zomer. And Dusty, thanks for coming on to the show. And let's hopefully we get some dry weather this week to go racing, huh?
Hi, Eric. Thanks for having me. Yeah, no kidding. 2 weeks in a row is enough. You know, it's time for Mother Nature to cooperate.
Yep. You've kind of been able to do a little bit of racing here the last few months. You guys have traveled to the West Coast with your team. Talk a little bit about how that part of your season has gone so far.
Yeah, we went down to start the year off. We ran down in Yuma, Arizona. They had a 410 deal that kind of lasted a week. There's 5 races over a week's time, and yeah, we made the A main every night but one, and obviously they had a good competition because no one else is really racing that time of year. And it was a lot of fun. It was a whole new place for me. We like I said, we passed a lot of cars. We made some good showings and started there, and then come back and took February off, and then headed back down towards Arizona in March again to race in Arizona and Vegas with the Outlaws. And I mean, that went well as well. We made the show there, and then we ran some 360 stuff at the Arizona tracks down there, Tucson, and we ended up a couple times down there at Canyon Raceway and Tucson, and so it overall it was a good time. It was a lot of fun. I got to go to tracks that I have never been to before myself personally, and learn and educate myself a little bit on some of the different surfaces and stuff like that. It was obviously very nice for January and March, so I wasn't complaining there one bit. And yeah, we just slowly made our way back this way. Stopped in Wichita, raced there, and then now we get back here. And you know, unfortunately, here the last couple of weeks, this is kind of where we've kind of been stalled out just a little bit because it's been raining up around these parts of the country here. So the year has started out well. We have raced, probably 14, 15 times, and definitely looking to get the season going here around here.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting this year. You're with a new team with the Todd and Susan LaHaye's Buffalo Wild Wings car. Just kind of talk about how that deal came together. I think you started racing for them last fall at the end of the year, right?
Yeah. Actually, kind of like anything else, I I had my own equipment, I had my own car, and I had actually hurt one of my motors, and it was getting close to national time, and they were kind of having some different drivers go in and out of the car, and Greg had called me up and asked me, why I wasn't at Houston's one night, and I said, well, I hurt the motor, and he asked me if I was interested, and I said, yeah, absolutely, we'd love to do it, and hop in there once and just race, and love to race, and they got good equipment, their motors run good. Al Parker builds good motors, and the cars are good, Maximum chassis, and I've raced with them enough. I know they got good stuff, and so yeah, we hopped in there for one night there at Houston's, and then after Knoxville got done, we kind of just, Greg asked if I was interested in doing some more racing, and I said, yeah, sure, why not? I'll go to Grand Forks Outlaw Show, tracks I hadn't been to yet. And I was excited and excited for the opportunity, and so we hopped on it and ended up running there kind of the fall time, kind of running some shows up north, and ended up actually winning a couple times, once against the RA and once up there in Grand Forks, and we were running well and making some good showings and having fun as well, and then that's half the battle, and I think everyone was enjoying themselves, and we just ended up continuing to race down south there, short track nationals, and went to Devil's Bowl and had some good runs down there, and that was kind of the timing that we sat down and discussed about possibilities looking at next year or this year, and we kind of all agreed to basically give it a try and go out and race a lot more than what I'm used to, which was exciting for myself, and go to a lot of different tracks, and definitely so far this year it's been a lot of fun, and looking forward to the rest of the year and trying to get some more wins.
Yeah, it's a lot more racing than what you've been used to previously in your career. So exciting for you. I mean, I assume you have a full-time job on top of all this, right?
Yes. I actually help manage my dad's trucking business, or help me do a lot of the bookwork and stuff like that. Shuffle a lot of the paperwork around, and that keeps me busy during the week. Greg works full time on the car, getting everything ready there, and so we definitely stay busy between what we're both doing. But we get together every week and get done what we need to, and get prepared for the next race. And we're definitely coming into the summer here. And there's lots of opportunities here. We'll be racing 3 nights a week.
Yeah, that's exciting. Let's kind of go back and talk about when you started racing. I believe you started out in go-karts, and you had a pretty successful go-kart career, if I'm...
Yeah, we, I had some friends that played softball like any other kid, and the coach, he had some go-karts for his kid, and they raced at a local track, and just got to be friends with them, and thought, what the heck, and my dad bought a couple of carts, we'd hang out with them, and have some fun and see if we liked it and go out there. And as a kid, I'd always gone to Houston, so I was kind of into racing. And that was about when I was 10 years old, and just went out there and started turning circles, and things were going well. I mean, I got Rookie of the Year a lot of places. As a 10-year-old, I was winning some races, getting some trophies. I mean, it was a lot of fun, and you definitely family and friend sport, and just kind of started there and racing the local tracks, and before you know it, we kind of got a little bit more competitive at it, traveling a little bit more, just like anything else, and things went really well. About, I suppose, about 1999, 2000 is when it really started taking off. We had won lots of track championships around here, and then we had raced at the Nationals, the 4-cycle Nationals, where they obviously had, you had big name guys that, like A.J. Foyt the fourth, and a lot of guys that had been at it for a little bit, and I jumped in there, and we were able to compete against them and win occasionally at those big shows, and won some national championships, and it was a lot of fun. And that's just kind of how I got my feet wet into the racing deal, and it just kind of took off from there. Yeah, I'd always been a fan of the sprint car deal, and had a longtime friend of my dad's asked me if I was interested when I was 17, I think, if I wanted to drive a sprint car, and of course, you're 17 years old, you're not going to say no,
Heck no.
And that's just, I jumped right into the 360 deal locally, and that's just kind of how I just started turning laps in that, and I guess slowly worked my way up to the aluminum-headed stuff and traveling a little bit more, just like I did in the go-kart deal, worked my way to the 410 deal, and liked the speed, liked the challenge, and I guess just have met a lot of good people along the way, and I guess that before you know it, 5-10 years goes by very quickly.
Yeah, I think 360 Rookie of the Year at Knoxville and a 410 Rookie of the Year at Knoxville just a couple years after that. So there's not too many drivers that have accomplished that feat. So you've gone on to win. I think you've got 9 feature wins in the 410 class at Knoxville now. I'm sure you've won some other races besides that. I think you've won one Houston's Track Championship. Is that right?
Yes, I do believe so. Yeah, the 360 class.
Okay.
My memory serves me correctly.
You've also had a really good run here for the last 10 years or so at Knoxville. I think you've been in, the top 5 or the top 10 in points for quite a while here. But you've done it with several teams. Just kind of talk about the transitions from going from your family-owned team to where you're with the Ingles team the last several years, and where you're at now. Has it been difficult transitioning from one type of race car to the next and different engine combinations, or has that? I'm guessing that's helped build up to and made you better with more experience as well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, obviously, every little package that I drove for, they had something different, whether it was a different car, different motor builder, or both. But a lot of the people that I had raced for, I knew them. I had been around them, and that helped. So you weren't just going to something cold turkey without knowing somebody. And then, you got to develop some, a friendly relationship with most of them, and build off of that, and whether, after I was done with one thing, moved on to another thing. Knoxville was one place that I had consistently raced at, and I've always liked Knoxville. I've always seemed to get around a big track like that, probably a little bit better than I have a short track. It definitely was fun, I guess, if you want to say, racing different motor builder stuff, different car stuff, and it did kind of make you a better driver, I think, or better to adapt quicker to things, with having to only race most of the time on Saturday nights, and competing against guys that raced that race 60 to 80 times a year. You had to adapt, really quickly in order to stay competitive with them, because they were out racing 3 nights a weekend. And I think that really, it really made me stay focused and stay out of trouble, and be able to compete every Saturday night. And like I said, Knoxville, I've always taken a liking to that place. We've had success with running for the points, finished in the top 5 multiple times, and have always seemed to been capable of winning on multiple occasions. And definitely the 410 deal at Knoxville too. It really shows you how competitive it is. So if you can win at Knoxville, lots of times you can go race against the World Outlaws and those guys, just because Knoxville is so tough at the competition. It's been fun racing with a lot of different people, and getting to know a lot of different people from different parts of the world, and it definitely continues on, I guess, as my career moves forward.
Yeah, you've had a great career so far, and I think you're looking to have a really good season this year. Thanks for coming on the show tonight, and good luck to you and the LaHaye 82 team this year, and wish you guys the best.
Yeah, I appreciate it being on, and hopefully we're racing here in the near future.
Let's hope so.
That's Dusty Zomer, driver of the number 82 Buffalo Wild Wings sprint car. Dusty should have a good season here in 2015. And like you said, let's hope that the wet stuff stays away. We can go racing on Saturday night. Coming up a little bit later this season, the Marion County Fair, you've got Tyler Farr in concert. The dirt cart races and the Harris Clash there in July. The World of Outlaws MediaCom Shootout coming up in June 13th. The Arnold Motor Supply 360 Nationals, August 6th through the 8th. And, of course, the 55th Annual FVP Knoxville Nationals, August 12th through the 15th. In September, we have Monster Jam and the Late Model Nationals. You can find out more information about all of those events at KnoxvilleRaceway.com and buy your tickets there as well. Don't forget to listen to KBOE on Tuesday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. Jeff Kropp has the Checker Flag program with news, driver interviews with drivers from the Southern Iowa Speedway here in central Iowa. Don't forget about Dirt Dreams on MAV TV. Replays of those are continuing, of the episodes of the Dirt Dreams coming to you on MAV TV in June. Thank you for listening to the Knoxville Raceway Inside Line. Thanks to my guests, Dylan Peterson and Dusty Zomer. You can follow the Knoxville Raceway on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Vine, and don't forget to download the mobile app.
Also, if you're in Knoxville Saturday, feel free to stop by the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Come early, take a tour. There's plenty of sights and history to take in there. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame is open 7 days a week. We'll throw the checker flag for this episode of Knoxville Raceway Inside Line. Thank you for joining us tonight. So we'll see you at the races. Thank you for listening to the Knoxville Podcast. The Knoxville Podcast is made possible by our partners Lucas Oil, FVP, Casey's General Store, Speed Sport, Arnold Motor Supply, RacingJunk.com, and Pella Motors.